In 1944, 44 countries met in a small New Hampshire town. They made a deal that would change human history forever. They agreed on one thing. The US dollar would be the only currency backed by gold. Every other currency on Earth would be backed by the dollar. That was 80 years ago. Since then, 10 countries have tried to destroy this system. Every single one failed. Russia tried. Their currency crashed 40%. China spent 20 years building an alternative. They control just 4% of global transactions. BRICS tried to launch a new currency. It doesn't exist. In the next 9 minutes, I'll show you exactly why no country on Earth can replace the US dollar. And by the end, you'll understand something most Americans don't know. The biggest threat to the dollar isn't China. It isn't Russia. It's something much closer to home. Let's break this throne apart, piece by piece. To understand why no one can replace the dollar, we need to visit the graveyard. The graveyard of every country that thought they could. Let's start with Russia. In 2022, after the Ukraine war, sanctions hit. Russia had two choices: keep using dollars and watch $300 billion in reserves get frozen, or go completely off the dollar system. They chose to go off. The ruble crashed 40% in weeks. Inflation hit 14%. And here's what nobody talks about. To survive, Russia started selling oil to China. But China didn't pay market price. They paid a 30% discount. Russia didn't escape the dollar. They just changed masters. Next, China. For 20 years, China has tried to make the yuan a global currency. They built their own payment system called CIPBAS. 1,500 banks signed up. Sounds huge, right? Here's the reality. CIPS processes $50 billion per day. SWIFT, the American system, processes $5 trillion. That's 100 times more. China controls just 4% of global transactions, after 20 years of trying. Then there's BRICS: Russia, China, India, Brazil, South Africa. Together, they represent 45% of the world's population. In 2024, they announced a new currency called the unit. The world panicked. Here's what actually happened. India refused to join. Their foreign minister said the dollar is the source of global economic stability. Then Donald Trump threatened 100% tariffs on any country that tried. Every single one backed down. Brazil's president, the loudest critic of the dollar? 80% of his country's reserves are still in US dollars. The BRICS currency was declared dead in early 2026. So what makes the dollar so unkillable? Here are the 5 fortresses protecting it. Fortress number 1. Oil. In 1974, America made a secret deal with Saudi Arabia. Sell your oil only in US dollars. In return, we'll protect your kingdom with our military. Saudi agreed. Every country on Earth that wants oil has to buy dollars first. 7 billion people, all needing American currency just to keep their lights on. Fortress number 2. The military. The US has 11 aircraft carriers. No other country has more than 2. 800 military bases in 80 countries. The world's largest air force is the US Air Force. The second largest? Also American. The US Navy. Gold can be melted. Banks can collapse. Crypto can crash. But no one cancels the most powerful military in human history. Fortress number 3. Trust. When you buy a US Treasury bond, you're trusting one thing: that America will pay you back. And in 250 years, America has never defaulted. Not during wars. Not during the Great Depression. Not during 2008. That's why central banks hold 58% of their reserves in dollars. It's not love, it's trust. Fortress number 4. The network effect. 90% of international trade is priced in dollars. 88% of foreign exchange transactions involve dollars. When everyone uses the same currency, switching costs are enormous. Imagine if your country decided to stop using the internet. You'd be cut off from the world. That's what happens if you stop using dollars. Fortress number 5. The printing press. This is the secret superpower nobody talks about. When America has too much debt, they just print more dollars. Any other country doing this would cause hyperinflation. Think Zimbabwe. Think Venezuela. Currency collapse. But when America prints dollars, the whole world absorbs it. Why? Because everyone needs dollars to buy oil, trade goods, and hold reserves. America is the only country on Earth that can print its way out of debt and not suffer for it. That's why the dollar sits on the throne. But here's where the story gets dark. I told you at the start that the biggest threat to the dollar isn't China. It isn't Russia. It's something much closer to home. Here it is, the United States itself. The U.S. government currently has $34 trillion in debt. That's $103,000 for every American citizen, every man, woman, and child. And it grows by $1 trillion every 100 days. To pay this debt, the government has two options. Option 1, raise taxes dramatically. Politicians won't do this. It's political suicide. Option 2, print more dollars. That's what they keep choosing. Since 2020, the U.S. has printed 80% of all dollars ever created. 80%. In 5 years. Here's the problem. The more dollars the Federal Reserve prints, the less each one is worth. That's what inflation actually is. Not price increases. Currency devaluation. Your savings lose value every single year. Not because prices go up, because the dollar goes down. In 1970, $1 bought 3 gallons of gas. Today, less than a quarter gallon. The dollar has lost 87% of its purchasing power since 1970. So why doesn't it collapse? Here's the genius of the system. America exports its inflation. Every time the Fed prints dollars, those dollars flow to other countries. Other countries hold them as reserves, buy oil with them, use them for trade. So the inflation gets spread across the entire world. Every person on Earth using dollars is paying a hidden tax to America. 7 billion people. Subsidizing the most powerful economy on Earth. This is called the exorbitant privilege. And it's why the dollar might die from the only thing that can kill it. Itself. If America prints too many dollars, too fast, the world stops trusting it. And when trust dies, the throne collapses. Not from enemies, from inside. So will the dollar actually die? Here's what the data says. In 1970, the dollar was 85% of global reserves. Today, 58%. In 50 years, it's dropped 27 points. If that trend continues, the dollar will be under 50% of reserves by 2050. But here's the twist. Nobody is rising to replace it. The euro peaked at 25%. Now it's 20%. The yuan? 2%. Gold is rising, but it can't handle global trade. Bitcoin? Too volatile. What's actually happening is fragmentation, not replacement. The future isn't one currency ruling the world. It's many currencies competing. But at the top of that fragmented world, still the dollar, still on the throne, just a smaller throne. America won't lose its crown in your lifetime. Or your children's. Maybe your grandchildren's. Because building a new global currency system requires something nobody has. Military dominance for 80 years. Economic stability for 250 years. And trust from every country on Earth. The dollar isn't just money. It's the result of the most successful 80-year geopolitical strategy in human history. And no country on Earth is close to replicating it. If you made it this far, you now understand the dollar better than most Americans. Follow DollarThrone for more. Every week I break down the economic empire nobody teaches you in school. What country do you think has the best shot at replacing the dollar? Tell me in the comments below.